各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。數百年以嚟，獨木舟一直係加拿大西岸原住民族重要嘅交通工具。佢穿越海岸同河流，連結唔同社群，亦都承載住世代相傳嘅文化與智慧。適逢6月係加拿大原住民歷史月，我哋會帶大家走入原住民獨木舟嘅世界，了解呢一項傳統工藝點樣跨越世代延續至今。
Our culture of canoe racing has gone on since before contact, like thousands of years, and it's kind of in our blood, and we love to race each other, and it's our passion. So that's what we do, is we race each other and we build the race canoes. I think it's an identity. We hold on to our identity with the water, yeah. Even if it's for a little bit.
My name's Michael Billy. My ancestral name is Stawaltkin. I'm a coach and a paddler. One of my dad's ancestral names is Lemkacha, and that translates to canoe builder. So from him, that goes back 7 generations. You know, to me, it's 8. So a lot of, you know, my family has been doing this for time immemorial.
My name is Michael Billy. My hereditary name is Lemkacha. I come from the Squamish Nation. I've paddled most of my life and built canoes. I started building canoes when I was 14. My dad had logs delivered to the front of our house, and he took me and my brothers out, and he said, "I'll show you once and once only. And if you get it, you probably will, but if you don't, you probably never will." And he was pretty right about that. Me and one of my brothers got it, we could build canoes. And the other one built one up here, but he won't finish it for some reason. We've built hundreds of canoes, and our canoe building is a big part of our family. Yeah.
I started paddling when I was 5, and even before that, my dad would have me in a canoe with him as soon as I was able to sit. So my whole life I've known canoeing, and it's like walking to me. I could do it very easily, and I love it, and it's a passion, and it's a way of life for me and my people.
Yeah, these are the doubles, eh? We usually name them after our nieces or our daughters. Most of the time, our mothers or our aunties, and it's after the woman that we love. That's usually how North Van does it, but not everybody does it that way. Other people will name their canoes after chiefs or animals. Yeah, that's the one my dad taught me how to build. I was 14 when I built that one.
Does this have a name?
Yeah, Robin. I have a niece that's named after Robin. I thought, should I redo it, you know, like clean it up? And I thought, no, that's the original paint on it. That's the original. So I just left it.
When you go out to pick a log to build into a canoe, you know, you don't pick it, it picks you, and it wants you to transform its life from a tree into a canoe life. And we like to think that these canoes have a life still, even though, you know, they're not in the earth and they're not a standing tree, but they have a life as a canoe, so we have to treat them right.
Once we started getting into it, it meant a lot. But until my dad started teaching us how to build canoes, we didn't do anything with canoeing. I remember being in the canoe as a child, like playing in the canoe, but we never, like the kids nowadays, like my children, right from when they're little, we start training them to build canoes right away, and my parents didn't do that. But my parents went through residential school, so a lot of things were taken away. And it's really funny that my father, he does things without knowing it, or when he was alive, he'd do things without knowing it that were culturally significant, and he'd just do it almost like a nerve reaction. And the way he taught us was that way. It was pretty cool. Like he'd tell us you have to go and sit by the tree in the morning before you start carving it. You don't just walk up and start hitting it with an axe. You gotta sit with it for a while. And I don't know if he knew it, but he'd do that same thing with water. He'd tell us when you get to the canoe race, you go sit by the water. And because of the way I was raised, I thought scientifically, so I'd look at the tides, look at how the currents are, how everything, like if there's a river close by or whatever. But I didn't realize he was telling me to make an agreement with the water, to become one with the water, and ask to have a good race and be safe. Yeah. So I sort of picked that up over time, but yeah. So my dad, he did go through residential school, but he did retain a lot of the teachings of our culture. Yeah. They could be used for day-to-day stuff like hunting, berry picking, fishing. They could be used for traveling. They had the great big, they have the Journey now with the ocean-going canoes. And those were big traveling canoes at one time. And they had a lot of different types of canoes. But we like making the race canoes because of the competition or the speed. But when you start building canoes and they teach you how to make them, they almost talk to you when you're racing them. The dugouts I'm talking about, they have a feeling in them. Now, if you look at the tree that's been growing for 500 years and it's hundreds of feet in the air, and now it's a log, it wants to be a canoe and it wants to race and win. And when you're racing in it, you can feel it.
Which will you use this weekend?
We meet that one. This one? Our club has over 70 canoes, and each of them have a different personality. They have to let us use it. And especially the dugouts. If I was able to go see a tree while it was still standing, I would definitely sit with it and thank you, saying, I'd give it thanks for taking it to become a canoe. This is my grandpa's draw knife. It's probably 1800s. It's extremely hard just to find a draw knife, but to find one that old with this type of metal, I've only sharpened this a handful of times, and I still use this. Is my number one, and this is my dad's. I was just glad to get this one. I don't use it that much. This is my dad's adze, very refined, nice adze. It's more of a carving adze. CJ, my race single.
I think we're supposed to be in a good mood. Generally, when we're building canoes, we're supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be something we want to do. We want to put good energy into our creations. And when it's stripped canoes, it's more modern tools. But when we do the dugout canoes, I use some of the tools that my dad used, that his dad used. So it's a really special feeling when we get to use the adze, that my grandpa passed down to my dad. That he passed, eventually will pass on to me. I hope so. And yeah, it's cool because it's kind of like holding, a piece in time, today. A piece in time that was a long time ago to today. It's a special feeling doing dugout canoes.
Oh, one of the things my dad taught me was. When you're working on a canoe, you can't be in a bad mood. It's best if you're happy and if your mind is clear and you're not thinking about stuff. You just focus on what you're doing. I remember him telling me that, yeah. So that would definitely be a part of it. Yeah. if you're free from obligation, then you just carve the tree. When it comes to paddling, when you're out on the water tends to have a healing effect. Like sometimes you'll get to practice and you're so tired from the day, the last thing you want to do is go out in the water. But you go out in the water and you do practice and you come back and you got energy. It's like you're cleaned or you got more energy. It's funny. People don't think about that when they say, I can't come today, I'm too tired. It's the opposite. You should be out there. Yeah. So, like even with our people, they believe that you shouldn't be in the canoe while you're in mourning. And when I'm truly in mourning, that's the one place I want to be, is out there. So I think it's the best place. It's a very spiritual place when you're on water. You got a connection. Every human has a connection with the water, and if you're out there for a bit, it kind of releases things. Nothing can follow you out there, your problems. And I think that's a big part of our spiritualism with the racing and the paddling. Yeah. Oh, this trophy is our oldest trophy, 1907. It actually says on there Squamish Indians. But that's us racing in 1873. That's when they were making Vancouver, when it was being made. Yeah. The other ones are from clubs that went international or went to big races around the planet. We were lucky with canoe racing because it went through colonization, and they had banned potlatches, so we couldn't gather together as people, and we were still allowed to race canoes. So we were lucky in that sense. I didn't want to be the last canoe builder, because there's a handful of us, but there's a lot of things you got to know when you're building a dugout, and I wanted to hand them things on to future generations, so that's what we did, yeah.
Us Squamish, we have chiefs, and my dad being a hereditary chief, and in this modern day, it's hard to navigate what that really means. And I think for us, I think it is to pass on this sport, and that is going to be my goal as well, as for the future generations. Down the line when I eventually have kids, I hope that they take as much interest as I did. And even my cousin and my sister, they just had children recently, and yeah, I'm already so excited for them for when they get 5 or 10 years down the line here, that I can teach them how to build canoes and whatnot.
每一艘獨木舟咧都係參樹生命嘅延續，亦都承載住族人與土地、海洋之間嘅深厚連結。而當傳統文化走出工作坊，到水面之上，又會展現出點樣嘅生命力。下一節翻嚟，我哋會一齊走入原住民獨木舟競賽嘅世界。歡迎翻嚟節目時間。對於好多原住民族嚟講，獨木舟唔單止係文化象徵，更加係一項延續至今嘅重要傳統。近年嚟，越嚟越多嘅族人透過獨木舟競賽重新認識自己嘅文化同歷史。咁接落嚟，我哋一齊去感受一下獨木舟運動嘅魅力。
Those guys are fast, a lot of fast guys here, so yeah, it's cool being next to them. So that's the goal, is to place and ultimate goal is to have fun. You know, these races are great because you get to see, you know, friends and family from all over, and you know, you get to catch up. And you know, so a lot of time we don't see some of these people throughout the whole off season, which is 6 months. So it's cool being able to catch up with friends and family.
Usually we just stick with dugout racing, but we do branch off into outrigging. And when I first started, the reason we did outrigging was for the travel. We'd get to go to Hawaii, and we've gone to places like Samoa and Australia and Brazil, California countless times. It's just to see the world. That's the main reason I did outrigging, but I also love it too. It's a great sport. But our main goal is probably dugout because it's our culture and because it's fast, faster than outriggers. And when we start during the season, word kind of goes around where the races are going to be, and then we're not really an organization per se. So nobody ever really puts out a schedule, but from usually the middle of May till September, we could be at any given place that weekend.
We are looking for coming up to the finish line. 16 and under buckskins.
The Mariah Slough, where they race now, it actually used to be the Fraser River. When the Canadian Pacific Railway went through, they blocked our river into the system. They did put a culvert in it, but the river was so strong it washed it away. But in history, our people traveled on the Fraser River on canoe, and I'm sure they didn't call it a race, but it was just like whoever was the fastest or strongest on the river then.
When we come together as family, we're called the Coast Salish Nation. There's 54 communities in British Columbia and 14 tribes in the United States because the US-Canada border transects our traditional territory. So the canoe races, we do a circuit. Part of the circuit's in our relatives in Vancouver Island, here in British Columbia mainland coastline, and then in Washington State. But we're all Coast Salish people. We're all connected family-wise one way or another. So that separates us from others. Other people don't do races like this. It's really specific to us as Coast Salish First Nations. So on any given year, there could be 20 or more races. Quite often there's a race in 2 locations on the same weekend because there's not enough time to get them all separated, right? So it is spread all over southwestern British Columbia and northwestern Washington State. We continue to exist, and we're getting stronger, louder, and prouder through our identity, through festivals like this, through all the values and principles of the canoe, of sports like soccer and whatnot, right? And our population continues growing every year, so we're going to be getting bigger and bigger momentum going forward on having the ability to celebrate who we are as Coast Salish people, as we express that in canoe racing, in soccer and other sports. We're just gathering here as a people because quite often we don't have time to visit each other, right? For all those coming out, all the canoe races in Coast Salish country, it's a huge opportunity to visit each other, especially the elders. So message, we still exist and we're proud and we're going to continue thriving.
We said it started 53 years ago, and again, it was by our late Grand Chief Archie Charles and another guy named Joe Alec. And I think by bringing that back to our community, it showed us that, you know, we can build on becoming that First Nations person again, right? Because like everyone was saying, that we always had to hide our culture and our values because of what we experienced through going through residential schools or day schools or whatever, right? So again, like the canoe pulling is the one that probably one of the reasons why we end up getting back into our culture and to be more aware of who we are. And it's not only for it's not always about canoe pulling. It's all about all the different things that we get involved in including like like last night we had a dance troupe here last night, and to see all the youth getting involved and being proud of who they are, that's the biggest thing that I see for our youth, is that they have great pride in participating and being involved, and to be able to say that they are in First Nations, and they aren't ashamed to be who they are anymore.
Coming out to the festival like this here is a way of encouraging that in broad strokes, because kids will mimic adults' behavior, and they'll mimic each other's behavior too. So when you get this many people, this many kids together for a weekend on their best behavior, it's a way of modeling, good practices, good teachings, and it's just it's hard to explain in English without actually being out there in the environment, especially as a participant or a parent or a grandparent. And you just start looking across and seeing and recognizing everybody as Coast Salish family. We're coming here to compete, we're coming here to have fun, we're coming here to look after each other at the same time. A lot of values in there, overt and subtle values all at the same time.
Beyond the canoe and the field, like, this event brings a sense of identity to our people. It brings us together, and you're not just one person in a canoe or one person on the field. We're all here together across the territory, and I think that that's really important. I know that my children really have a sense of pride when it comes to being a First Nations person or child, and this event really brings that sense of pride back to them.
They need to understand that we're not going anywhere. They tried to take the Indian out of us years ago in regards to putting us into these residential schools and to do different things to us at that time. So, but they got to realize that we are here, and we're fighting our way back in regards to ensuring that we are bringing back our culture, our traditions, and different things that we have that opportunity to do now, and to be able to share with our younger generations.
The need, the want, the obligation to enrich our culture, enrich our identity, it's in us whether we're in leadership or not. And it certainly has been one of the values of Seabird as a community for decades and for generations. And now it's our turn to be at the helm of the ship and do what we can to promote culture, language, heritage, spirituality. And it's about reinstilling as much as we can in those, knowing that we've lost so many elders that carried that on for millennia. We're just going to do the best we can, and as you're in a canoe, all we can ask of you is do the best that you can and celebrate when you can.
We just do it for just love of the way of life. Just the connection to the Cedar and the First Nations culture. Yeah, why it's such a big, important and meaning to us. Yeah, it's in the First Nations culture, it's like the cedar tree is the next closest thing to a human being. So that's why it means a lot to us.
I always wondered, always try to mention it when I'm in front of our people and I got a chance to say something. I'll tell them when you're out in a canoe and your body's in shape and it's summertime and the sun is shining, there's no better place in the world. It's the best place on the planet. If you're in shape and you're controlling your own canoe and you're on the water in the summertime, in our races, it's the best feeling ever.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間就差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。我哋嘅電郵地址係 mag26@fairchildtv.com。如果觀眾咧想上網重溫今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站3w.fairchildtv.com， 點擊節目重溫一欄就可以睇得返㗎啦。下星期同樣時間再同大家見面，晚安。